Yeah, so good morning. Welcome to DevTeach. First talk after Scott talks. Did you like it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I like that guy. I really like where Microsoft is going. Uh, Funny enough, I was with Microsoft. I used to work at Microsoft at some point. I was a technical evangelist there before setting up Netherlands. So in the Balmer era, open source was not maybe, how can I say this, the main focus of Microsoft, but my job was to talk about open source, interoperability, open data. So basically doing a little bit of like mostly a couple of things that Scott talked about this morning. So it's kind of interesting to see where it goes. So how many of you is the first time at DevTeach? Nice, new crowd. It's been it's a conference that's been there since forever, I think. They've done conferences a lot in Montreal, but also in Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa. They've been in Canada, so it's pretty good. My name is Frédéric Harper. Yes, Frédéric, so I'm francophone, so if you have any question, comment in French, please let me know, but the talk's going to be in English. You can call me Fred too, if Frédéric is too hard to say in English, which is most of the time, so Fred is good. Feel free to tweet during the talk. You can use #FHarper, this is my Twitter handle. The slides are not yet on the DevTeach website because I'm the kind of speaker who can do modification on the slide like 30 seconds before the talk. So I'm going to put those slides today on the DevTeach website. But also what I'm doing right now is that I'm recording that talk too. So I'm also going to put the recording of the talk with the slides a little bit later on my blog, which is outofcomfortzone.net. Personal blog, sometimes technical, but I would say mostly personal. I just like write about anything that I want to talk about. So today, this talk is about from employee to becoming freelance developer. So how many of you, like, your company sent you here? Like, they paid for your tickets? Shame on you to be here. Like, I'm pretty sure your manager won't be happy to see you here in that talk, but it's okay. It's okay. Actually, there's a couple of tricks in that talks that you can probably apply in your day-to-day job, and it's okay. I think it's part of it. Funny enough, you'll see about this. So this talk is not about you being successful as a freelance developer, because there is no way for me to be sure that you're going to be successful or give you all the tricks so you can be successful. This talk is more about have been freelance a couple of times in my life. I failed. I was successful. I found some tricks that helped me, some tips that was amazing. If you enter in the middle of the talk, you need to do a little dance. You need to dance, like
yeah,
dance
sure.
or cursing. Okay. People never want to do this. One day someone would. Yeah.
No, later.
Okay, later. Yeah, when nobody's watching. I hear you. So this talk is really about my tips about like doing freelance, thing that I learned in the last 2 years and when I was freelance in the past. So this is the kind of presentation where, yeah, I'm going to speak because I'm there in front of you, but like feel free to ask questions. If you have any comments, feel free to do it during the presentation. So being a freelance developer, software engineer, actually I would say being freelance at all, no matter the type of work you're doing, is not easy. And I would say, and I'm quite positive, I'm a positive person usually, but I would say people that will tell you it's a piece of cake, don't trust them. It's really not easy. And I'm not saying this to be negative, like it's just the reality, it's not easy. And being in business is not easy. Even being an employee sometimes is not easy. So now you're talking about running your own business, and the fact that you probably want, or you have kind of an idea of maybe at some point going freelance, sometimes if you start that journey, you may feel alone. And this is probably one of the biggest struggles that people that start as a freelance is really feeling alone at some point, because you're going to be your own boss, you're going to do your own stuff. You may not have team at the beginning, or you may at some point, or you may decide to really, instead of just going freelance, start a business. But at mostly any moment, you may feel alone. And this is one of the biggest, as I said, this is one of the biggest struggle that people have when they start as freelance. And the thing is that you're going to need to wear many hats. And that seemed obvious. And you probably heard this before, but like, this is so true. You're going to need to do everything. And the thing that is interesting as being freelance is that you want to go freelance because most of the time you want to do more of what you like. You want to code more, you want to make better decisions, you want to use the technology you really would like to use. And you may not want to work on those boring projects or those like coworkers that you really don't like, or there's many reasons why you would start as a freelance. But the thing is that when you are a freelance, you also have to do all these other things, like you need to do invoicing, and you need to do accounting, and you need to network, and you need to talk with customers, you need to manage those customers, you need to maybe have like some legal process because some customers won't pay you, and that will happen. And you need to, again, you need to network, and you need to network, and you need to network, and you need to talk to people. And having a contract is not like, hey, I talked to you 5 minutes, you think that I'm a good like software developer, you need someone, you're gonna hire me? No. You're probably gonna meet one time, a second time, and maybe a third time, and sometimes it goes forever. And people are like, hey, I really like you, but actually, you know what, we thought about it, and maybe not right now. But those are potential customers, and you need to keep them in mind, and you need to talk to them at some point and see if they are still interested in you. But the thing is that when you think about going freelance, keep in mind that whatever the reasons you want to go freelance and the fact that you want to do more of what you love, you will probably do a little less of what you love. And this is actually the reality. But on the other side, it's a rewarding experience. And that will probably be a rewarding experience. You're gonna get some exactly great experience, great expertise, you're gonna create new contacts, you're gonna make new friends. I have customers now who are friends. You're gonna meet people at conferences, maybe there's many, many, many opportunities for you if you're successful, if it's working. But the thing is that it may not be the case. And this is what is funny enough with that talk today is that when the organizer asked me, Fred, we'd like to do a talk, I was like, okay, I'm coding full-time for customers for 2 years now, for the last 2 years, and I don't think I've used like super exciting technology. I don't know any technical talk I would like to do right now. And Jared was like, no, it's okay, like do something, talk about something. So, hey, people often ask me like, Fred, how did you go as a freelancer? Like, how were you successful? Because it seems to be happy and you like it and it seems to go well and you have great customers and working on sexy, nice project. But actually I was not that happy, which made that talk interesting because I decided like 2 months ago to end my journey as a freelancer. So I want to go back as an employee for a different reason. It's not the topic of the talk. We can talk about it after later, but basically it's not that freelance was not totally for me. To be honest, I didn't like mostly everything that is around like doing software development because this is what I like. So I didn't like to manage customers that much, even if I had like pretty good customers most of the time, I would say. But I was also missing what I was doing before. I used to be a technical evangelist, basically going to conferences, speaking, meeting with developers, writing articles, and all those things. I could have been able to put them in my day-to-day work as a freelance, but actually I just decided that I want to go back as an employee, but that was my choice. But the thing is that I don't want to say this as like, oh, you should not go as a freelancer, because you probably should if you are thinking about it. But the thing is that this talk is really about, okay, what do you need to do to at least think about going freelance, but also go from thinking to the action. And it sounds a little bit weird, and I'm not the kind of person who overthinks stuff. I'm not putting processes where we should not have processes. But by experience, one of the things that was issues for me is that I was just like, hey, want to go freelance, let's do this. And I was not prepared at all. And I got maybe a little bit overwhelmed with everything that I should have thought about before, should have done. So what I would suggest you, and this is a little bit that talk, I suggest you to create a plan about being freelance. So step one would be think about the why. And that sounds like pretty stupid. And I was like making my slide and was like, Fred, there's people that's gonna listen to you, like this should be a good talk, not a stupid one. And I was like, no. And because I often talk with myself like this, it's a little bit crazy, I would say. But I live well with it. So the first step is really about why. And it's really important. Why do you want to be freelance? And there's 10,000 good reasons. That could be about everything. That could be about money. You want to make more money. And believe me, you will make more money if you go freelance because you're going to charge a hourly rate that's going to be probably higher than what you're being paid right now. But there's other things to keep in mind. But I don't know if there's people that are not in Quebec or if everybody's mostly living in Quebec right now, but there's a cultural issues here in Quebec where money is not good. Like we should not talk about money. We should not make money. We should not be successful. If you're successful or you're making too much money, you're probably an asshole or something got wrong at some point. I don't think it's wrong. If you want to make more money, go for it. If you want to a better job, go for it. If you want to go freelance and charge like a bunch of money to people to make your art, do it. You can do it. It's a good reason. But keep this in mind when you're gonna think about going freelance. Maybe you want more freedom. And let's be honest, at the beginning you may not have much freedom because you need to build your company, you need to build your credibility, you need to build your customers list. So that will take you more time. But at the same time, don't believe people that say, hey, when you go freelance or you start your own business, if you don't work 80 hours per week, you're not gonna be successful. I think it's a little bit crazy. Like you want to go freelance because probably you want to have more time. Maybe it's just money, maybe it's just freedom, maybe it's a mix of those. You will have to work, and you will probably have to work hard. And trust me, like the last time, 2 years ago when I started as a freelance, I was lucky enough to have a previous job where the last 5 years I was traveling all around the world, doing conferences, so I got a pretty interesting network. And even if most of the people never really worked with me, it seems like I look like a great software developer. So people are like, Fred is good. I'm like, oh, thanks. We never worked together. You never saw any of my code, but thanks. Like, I look like a great developer. So maybe it's my way of selling myself. And this is part of being freelance. So I would say, without being pretentious, that I think it was easier for me to start as a freelance because I already got that network. But it was still hard for me too. Because when I decided to go freelance, I didn't start a contract right away. It took me a little time to talk to people, oh yeah, Fred, we would like to work with you. And at some point you talk about like your rate and like, oh yeah, we wish we would be able to work with you. And like, okay, thanks, have a good day. Or people are like, oh, we would like to work with you, but we don't have any money for the project. And you know, like software development doesn't cost too much. It's easy to build like 5 windows and 5 pages. Like, yes, ask your cousin, they will do it for you. Or it takes forever, like, oh yeah, we want to have that project, and we're probably gonna start it in 1 year. I'm like, okay, nice. I mean, like, money now to pay my mortgage. We'd like to work now. So it's really not easy, but keep this in mind. And maybe time. Want to be more free, but you may want to have more time. It's kind of connected. So there is many reasons, and you're gonna see why I'm talking about the why a little bit later. It's really important because that's going to help you to focus on what you want to do, what kind of projects you want to do, what kind of customers you want to work with. Because there's different type of customers, different type of work, different type of project. The second step is think about the what. You may want, if we're talking about freelance, it may not be about creating a startup or product, but I still want to talk about this. You may have a product idea and you want to go build that product, which is great. The only thing is that keep in mind that as much as I love the startup type of world and community, and I was part of it, and I have a couple of friends in those, I think there's a lot of bullshit around those things. Like 9 out of 10 companies, and I'm making those numbers probably higher, just fail. Like everybody wants to be the next Facebook or the next whatever Uber company and make millions of dollars. That won't happen for most of us, and probably maybe all of us in the room. And probably there is one person in the room that's going to make a bunch of money in a couple of years, but that probably won't be. So if you think about those products and you have that product idea, let's try to be honest also with yourself, and that's going to take time to either raise money or like go to MVP, like the most, not the most valuable, most valuable professional. Yeah, I just had the Microsoft professional. Yeah, so going to at least a part of the project where you're going to be able to showcase what you want to do with people. Maybe you want to offer services. Like, hey, I'm going to offer you software development. I'm going to help you with your QA. Or I'm going to do only the architecture, be that like expert architecture type of guy, goes to your company and help you. Or maybe you want to focus on, that was not my plan, but this is what I did for the last 2 years that was pretty amazing. I was focusing on really project that went really bad. Either the code was like, I don't even have words sometimes, it was a disaster, either the team was not delivering, and it was kind of like a project rescue type of project, most of them, and that was pretty exciting. But think about services, not just about, oh, I want to offer services. There's more than that. What will be your services? Because there is a infinite type of services you can give to people. And people will ask you about everything and anything, because you're a technical person, you're from the tech industry, you know everything. Oh, by the way, we need help to repair a computer, you can do this, you're a tech person. And yeah, maybe, yes, I can do it. And probably at the beginning you may help those people because you want customers and you want like a food in the company, in the office, and you want to help them, and you need money. Like, let's be honest, we need money to live. So you're probably gonna say yes to all those things. So instead of like going berserk and saying yes to everyone, try to define what will be your services. And another type of, I would say, freelancer is what I call consultant. I have friends, there's one giving a talk right now about Azure, Gibaret. He's freelance, this guy is freelance, he is his own boss. But he's doing contracts that he needs to go to the office every day, kind of like an employee, and his contracts can like be 1 year long or 1.5 years long. And for him, this is a great balance between being employee and being freelance, because he still has some freedom, he can still manage-ish his time, but he's not an employee. And you work on a contract and a project, and after 6 months, a year, the project is done, and you can move to the next one, which is quite exciting if you're a developer. Most of the time you want to try new stuff, you want to do new project, you want to try new technology. So this is another way, which I would call, and I don't want to like lower down that type of work because it's amazing, but that could be a good also in between. So you get a little more stability by still being freelance and at the end of the day being your own boss. After thinking about the why and the what, you need to think about how you're going to proceed. How are you going to do this? And that sounds, again, I should stop to say this, but that sounds a little bit stupid. But actually, like, I didn't talk about those things. I talked about those things while I was freelancing. And it took me too much energy at that time because I was managing a project and trying to please customers and working with new technology that I did not know and everything, all those things that I had to manage. And trying to define what I wanted to do was maybe a little bit too much and overwhelming. So, funny enough, I don't know how many technology you worked with, how many programming language you like to code, how many programming language you know, or like framework you use. There's too much. There's too many. Like for a long time, it was part of my job to learn those technology, and I did not have the time to learn those technology. Not even like high-level stuff. There's too many things. And the year I've done, the problem I had when I was freelance, I was like, hey, I can do everything. And actually, it's true. And not that I'm good at everything. I can learn everything, and I like to learn. And I was honest with customers. Hey, I don't know that technology. The learning curve is going to be on me. I'm going to learn it, but do it. And it was kind of exciting because I had to play with technology that I never had the chance to play before. But the thing is that at some point, I was becoming that jack of all trades. I was okay at everything, but not really good at something. And that could be a way of doing things, but I would not suggest this one. I would tell you, try to focus on, hey, I'm going to be the front-end guy who do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, and React. Or, oh, I'm going to be that back-end PHP expert. Oh, no, I'm just going to do Python and Ruby. And it's okay, you don't need to restrict yourself to one. But I would highly suggest you to define this, and define it at the beginning. What do you like to do? Or what do you would like to know more? Or where is your expertise? Or where can you see a good opportunity for you? oh yeah, there's like a lot of offers for people about a Python project, but there's not enough Python developer. This is not a good example, but like that could be one. Or oh, like yeah, I don't know. You get a point. You can also focus on a specific industry. And I did not talk about this one until I worked for customers, which one of the guys in the end of the room spying on me, go away. And they're mostly doing banking stuff, only banking. And as far as banking is interesting, sometimes a little bit tricky to work on the banking industry, but at the end of the day, after 2-3 contracts, they became that expert. They are the banking expert. They're a software developer, they know their shit, but they've done banking in many bank industry and many company. And this is a way of limiting yourself maybe, because at some point you're gonna be really that expert, so when you're gonna go work for a telecommunication company, it was say, yeah, okay, no, you don't have experience in telecommunication, like it's not like banking, so we prefer to go with someone who has expertise. So that may be a blocker, but at the same time, that may also be like a superpower. Like you get that experience, you get that expertise, and the thing is that people's going to start to know that, hey, oh, one of my customers or someone I know is looking for someone in banking. For me, the go-to is that company. I put them in contact and relationship with that company no matter what. I know they're going to do a great job. And it's good for freelance. It's good for software developer. You can have that expertise. But you can decide those things at the beginning. And the thing is that I always say you need to or you can decide those things at the beginning. I would mostly say take it as I think it's better if you define most of it before, but don't set everything in stone also. Like it's kind of the foundation about your plan of going freelance, but the more you're gonna get experience, the more you're gonna work as a freelance, you're gonna learn some stuff and you can adjust what you're gonna be, like what kind of freelance you're gonna be. And people underestimate the where, but it's super, where are you gonna work? You don't have an office anymore. You're gonna work on your kitchen table, which is good for a week or two, but trust me, after longer than that, unless you don't use a kitchen table that much, which is my case, I eat most of the time in front of the TV alone and crying, being sad. No, but I have an office at home, I have a dedicated room, which is great because I can just close the door at some point and just don't think about work. If my computer is right in front of me or in the kitchen, like, oh yeah, maybe I could fix that thing for the customer while watching the latest episode of Orange is the New Black on Netflix or whatever, which I've done. And at some point, you're kind of work most of the time. So think about, do you have a dedicated space at home, or are you the kind of people who are going to work to the coffee shop, which is great also, which I love to do because I love people. I'm kind of a little bit of maybe let's say a freak, which is true too, but just no one is so. But I want to look at, I love to look at people in the coffee shop, looking at people that motivate me, that makes me feel like, hey, I'm alive, I'm part of those people, even if I'm like alone and I have no idea working alone. But still, it's great. But at some point, I also need to like be in my office with my 2 screens and concentrate and have no noise, or there's co-working space. And even when you start, you don't really need an office per se that, oh, if I have an office, I'm going to be like taking more seriously, which doesn't matter that much at that point, I would say. But still, you can also like loan an office or share an office with your friends or just go to a working space. Montreal is like, it was crazy a couple of years ago, and after this, like they all went bankrupt, and now like there's co-working space like every like 2 street corners. That's crazy. And there was like that really huge WeWork thing, which is really nice. If you never went to WeWork at Place United. It's pretty amazing. They did a great job. And I have no quote if you take membership there. I just really like them. I think they're doing a great job. And part of all this, whether you like it or not, you need to think about marketing. And now the tricky part is that you're marketing yourself. How will you differentiate, differentiate yourself? And this is important because right now being a developer or software engineer is a good timing. I don't know, maybe except Etienne, I look probably older than everybody in the room. Just Etienne looked really, really old. He's probably really, really old. But actually, like when I started as a developer, that was crazy. Like it was Like too many people went in school to learn about programming, and it was hard to find a job. And right now it's the other way around. There is so much need for a developer. There's so many like people looking for software developers. So it's a good time to be a software developer no matter what you want to do. Being freelance is also a good way right now. It's a good time because there is that need. There is those people that want to build stuff but that don't have the knowledge, and we have the knowledge, and we can help them being successful, create what they want to create. So right now is a good time. But even if there's plenty of jobs and plenty of opportunities, why should I hire you instead of you? Or why should I hire you instead of you? Like, why? What makes you different? Why should I hire you? So you need to market yourself. You need to think about why people should hire me. And this is part of your what, where, and how thinking. And part of it, there's something at selfish promotion, there's something called personal branding. I love that topic so much, and it helped me in my career so much that I decided to write a book, and funny enough, there's a company who decided to publish me. And personal branding is, and trust me, I'm not making money with this, even the people buy the book. It's really just for the pleasure of sharing a passion of mine. But there is something called personal branding, which is not about like branding like a company branding. It's really about yourself. And the thing is that everybody in the room, you have one. You have a personal branding. And if you want to understand what it is, ask your friends, ask your coworker, ask on Twitter, Facebook. Hey, guys, girls, how do you define me? How do you see me? And you're gonna get answers. Some great, some less great. Some are gonna be surprised, sometimes in a positive and sometimes in a negative way. And if you don't take the ownership of that personal branding, people take the ownership for you. So which is great. It's a little bit what I was talking before. When I told you, I got people who were like, oh, Fred is a really good software developer. Never work with me. How? I work on my brand. I was not like, oh, look at me, I'm really good, I'm the best developer out there. No, I think, I hack. Like in a professional ways, I work in a company where that's really nice on my LinkedIn profile, and I've done a job that was kind of public, so people kind of like know me when I was going to conferences, and it's really part of my brand. And this is what helped me to go from what I call like, I think I was an average developer, so I don't think I was bad, but I know people that are way better than me, like there's a, like, we all say rock star developer, all those things. Actually, I really hate the title, I didn't choose it. But like, those guys are great. And this is too long, I don't even know what to say the title of my book, so I say I wrote a book on personal branding. But actually, those guys are really good, or else they're amazing. But at some point, I decided I want to do that thing called developer advocate, technical evangelist, and branding really helped me. And branding, personal branding, really helped me as a freelance. So I'm not saying go buy the book. It's really not what I'm saying. I'm just saying think about that personal branding thing. And even if you want to learn more, I gave talk about this. I have recording on my blog, so you don't really have to buy the book because the talk is basically what I said in the book. If you just want to understand a little more and think about what you can do with personal branding to help you as a freelance developer. And the thing is that if after that talk, you decided that, hey, no, I don't want to go freelance, I want to still be an employee, personal branding is good. Personal branding is good for mostly everything you want to do in life. So keep this in mind. But outside of personal branding, there's also branding. Do you want to go as a freelance as Frederick Harper? Or do you want to go as a freelance as, I had a company name which was No Lion is Born King. And the tagline was so cheesy, but I loved it. It was like, we're gonna help you to be the king of your jungle. And actually that was phenomenal. Not because I got the idea, but because people were like, holy shit. Like, who doesn't want to be the king of this jungle? Like, who doesn't want to be the best in this industry? And you never start as being like, nobody's born as like, oh, I'm the best at what I'm doing. No, you learn, you fail, you hit the wall, and you're successful. And I was helping those companies being successful. And the logo was nice, and people loved it. But at the same time, I did not leverage my personal branding. Nobody knows No Lions Born King. They were like, oh, what, No Lions Born King? Oh, okay, it's Fred. Yeah, okay, maybe I know Fred, or maybe they don't know me. But I should have leveraged, in my case, I should have leveraged my brand instead of going with a company name. But my idea was like, hey, if I want an employee at some point, that's going to be easier, that's going to look more professional, and almost I'm going to be able to have a logo and work on it. And I spent too much time on the branding and the logo and the website, even the business cards, which were amazing. They were really nice. People, every time I was giving business cards, like, oh my God, this is nice. It should be good. I'm like, okay, thanks. What's the relation between my business card? But the branding was great. But you need to think about, hey, do you want to go as yourself, as a branding, as a company? There's many things to think about, and there's pros and cons for all those things. The fourth one, yeah, I said that I was going to stop this stupid, but this is interesting because the when is important, and the when is simple and complex at the same time. Surprised about the first one? The first one could be now. Like, you come back from the conference, go talk to your boss, and say, I'm done. I resign, I go freelance. Like, this is the dream of my life. Good for you. Good luck. And unless you have money set aside, unless you already have potential customer, I would highly suggest not doing this like this, which I've done, which was not totally a good idea. The other thing is the future, and I'm not saying like, oh, like so brilliant, like, oh yeah, I can be freelance. I never thought about it, like, let's be freelance now in the future. Fred, thank you. No, the idea is like, yeah, okay, the future, but when? You know, if you say the future, you will never go freelance. If you say, hey, in 1 year from now, I will go freelance, because in 1 year I'm going to have time to put money aside, or I just got a new baby and I want to have maybe a little more stability at the beginning, or be able to spend more time or at home, or I will have a baby and I want to spend more time with my new baby. I want to go get the kids after school, which would be nice when I'm going to be freelance because I'm going to be able to do this. But define what is future for you, because that's going to help you. And starting from that, you're going to say like, oh, in 6 months, this is when that makes sense, because I want to finish that project at work, or I want to get more experience, or again, put some money aside. But you're going to be able to say, okay, I have 6 months to build my plan and prepare myself to be freelance. And that sounds like a big haha moment, but actually it is. Like, trust me, you want to plan that thing. And you can go step by step. That's going to help you to go step by step. And if you're not sure, there's something called also entrepreneur, which I like to say in English. I don't know why. Entrepreneur, I look sophisticated. So, entrepreneur, and you can do this not in whole businesses, but there's many companies that will give you the opportunity to start your own project and lead that project. And you may have some resources, so that may be easier. You still have your paycheck every 2 weeks. And that's going to be a way for you to kind of like enjoy being an entrepreneur, enjoy being like ish freelance, but with all the like the foundation and the resources that's going to help you to be successful. And maybe that's enough for you and that's what you want. Maybe you're going to try and you're going to say, no, actually leading my own stuff looks nice, but actually it's not for me. And that may not be the case in all companies, but that may be a great opportunity too. The fifth step, and you did not even start as a freelance, and this is the hardest part maybe to understand. I don't know for you, I'm kind of like that special person developer because I'm social and extrovert, and most of us, we're not, let's be honest. Most of the time we're a little bit more introvert, shy. Social skills not always there, let's be honest. But the thing is that if you want to go be your own boss and be freelance, you don't have a choice in network. Because your network, your tribe, the people you know right now, the people that know you, you worked with, family, friends, people you connected on LinkedIn that you don't even know, but you just decided to say yes because this is someone existing somewhere that may help you at some point. All those people, they're going to be able to help you. And that's going to be a two-way relationship. Like, just don't always ask people. But at the same time, don't be afraid to ask people. There is nothing wrong when you start as a freelancer or you plan to start as a freelancer. Like, hey, decided to start a new journey, going freelance, looking for new contracts. This is my expertise. There's nothing shame, like there's no shame to have about this. So use your network, but the thing is that you need to build that network. And to build that network, obviously, you need to be online. You need to build that network online. Share stuff on Twitter. Be on Facebook. Talk to people. Go on LinkedIn. Maybe start a blog. Maybe talk. You need to, I would say entertain, but it's more about like connecting with those people. Because when you're going to need those people, it's not the time to connect with them. It's like when people are looking for a job, it's not the time to update your LinkedIn profile. You should have always keep your LinkedIn profile updated. So when you look for a job, it's there. But the thing is that it's not just about being online. So for those of you that were like, yes, I can stay in my garage and meet nobody and just be in front of my computer and go on Reddit and tweet and all those things. Unfortunately, it's not how it's working. Because most of your customers won't be technical. There will be people that need technical people. So you need to network. And I'm not just talking about going to networking event. I'm going to in conferences. Right now in the room, there is maybe a future customers of yours. You don't even know. And it's not because they're a software developer that they may not be customers. Maybe they're a company at some point. Too much work, we need someone, but like for 3 months, 6 months, and they may hire you. So you never know when you're going to meet your next customers. So network, go out there, go to conferences. And conferences, they're expensive most of the time. But there's so many user groups in Montreal, there's probably 2 or 3 user groups per evening about mostly every technology you can think about. There is one in Montreal. This is great. We're lucky for this. Don't go to all of this because you won't have any life after. But try to find the right balance between those things. But again, network, network, and network. This is, if there is one thing you need to remember from that talk, is network. Network is important. Your tribe, the people that follow you, the people that you're following, this is critical to be successful. But you need to start even before you go freelance, if you can. If you plan in the future, start to talk to people, start to connect, start to like have people on LinkedIn that you meet in person. After this, you need to prepare. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is so important. I don't have a usual resume. Like I don't have the 10 pages Word document that recruiters can put in their database and send me every jobs that fit a keyword. I just have my LinkedIn profile for years. And when people ask me, oh, I really need a file resume. So I export my LinkedIn profile to PDF and I send them. Like I'm not going to maintain 2 things. I put my effort there. I maintain my LinkedIn profile. I connect with people. I update all the time, even if I don't need it. And the thing is that many people will look on LinkedIn about freelance. They will look at, oh, I'm looking for someone doing C#. I'm looking for a PHP developer. And you can put in your timeline, you're going to be available in the 5th of October. But be ready, many recruiters will also contact you. And I did not have such great experience with recruiter, but I have a couple of friends and they were really helpful and they helped them. And the thing is that if you're looking more on the consultant type of gig, recruiters are pretty good because most of their customers are looking for someone for contracts for 6 months, 1 year. You're not going to be an employee, but that's going to be amazing. Do you want to have a website? And I would say probably yes. You may not need to put a lot of energy, but being a software developer and don't have any like home online, for me it's a little bit weird. Like I don't know how to say this in English, but in French we have like coordonnées mal chaussées, so you know like it's your work and you're not even there. I cannot find you. And the thing is that it's great with all those social media, but that you don't hone them. So website, you can hone that website. Even if it's a one-pager about like, hey, look at me, this is my face, I'm freelance, and this is the programming language that I know, and you can hire me. Like, that would probably be a good idea. Maybe you want to start to blog, if you don't blog right now. And this is probably a good tips for whatever you're doing in life. Blogging gave me a lot. On the personal, professional side, Etienne probably can say the same thing. It's pretty good. I got book gig, I got jobs. And now my blog is part of like when I'm talking to people and they ask me when I'm in the interview process and they ask me like where can I find more information. And even when they don't ask me, I send my blog. Hey, we're gonna work together maybe. You want to know more about how I think, what I'm doing, what I've done? Go there, go check my blog. And mine is not that technical, but as a freelance technical person, you can have a blog a little more technical and showcase your expertise, which would be great too. You want business cards, And the thing is that people are always laughing when I talk about, and those are not my business cards. They're still great, but not mine. People are laughing when I talk about business cards. Like, yeah, seriously, 2017, my business cards. And the truth is, yes. Even between technical people, even if I have my phone, I can enter your information, I can just connect on LinkedIn. Most of the time, we don't do it. So now think about your customers that may not be that technical. Business card is a great investment, and you don't need to go like crazy with like the super 3D type of business card, and like there's just something with your name and contact information and maybe small images or whatever. Just something to give to people. You don't have to invest a lot of money, but trust me, it's probably needed because you can just go a long way by, oh, really sorry, I gave all my business cards tonight, so I don't have like them anymore. That works for a couple of times, but at some point you really need something to give to people. And there is some legal aspect, and I'm not a legal expert, but one of the things I've done, I did not register my company. I was like a self-employed, self-employee on the Registrage des Entreprises du Québec, but you still need to register. And you're going to need to register for taxes also, because unless you plan to do less than $10,000 a year, which I hope you don't plan to do, like you probably need a little more money to live day to day. So after this, I think it's $10,000 per year. You need to fill for taxes and having your taxes number. So you're going to put this on your invoice, and you're going to charge taxes and give back taxes to the government. So there's a couple of things to think about. Do you want to incorporate yourself? Or do you just want to minimize the workload and be your own freelance? But if there's something happening, you are not a company, you're yourself. So your personal stuff is kind of linked to your professional life. So there's a decision to make there, but you need to think about those things. Step 7, think about the toolings. And I won't go too far in that place because I could talk about different tools I use that work great and not great. What I want you to think about right now, it's mostly about, okay, you're probably going to need tools, either for invoicing, doing your accounting, managing customers, relationship with those people, building your website. There's tools for everything. The only thing you need to keep in mind is that you don't need to pay for everything. And I'm not saying you need to steal. Just saying there is so many free tools out there, free script, free application that you can use. But at the same time, because trust me, at the beginning you want like to optimize everything and be like super productive, but you spend so much time to try to be more productive that you're not productive because you're spending your time to be productive. And there's so many tools out there, and there's always something new. So you need to decide what makes sense to use, and it's probably okay to do your accounting in an Excel spreadsheet. It's working well. This is what I've done. I was giving this to my my guy who was doing my finance for the end of the year, and it was good enough. Like I didn't have to buy Quicken. But on the other side, I decided like, I had an issue about tracking my time, and because I'm not working really from 8 to 5, I'm like, okay, how many hours did I work on that project today? And I was always under billing my customers. So at some point, okay, for me, it makes sense to invest like $9 per month to have Harvest, which gave me the opportunity to invoice, but also I have that like super nice timer where I select the customer, the project, and I say start. And when the phone ring and like, this is my father and it's not related to work, I stop it. And oh, it's beautiful outside. Okay, I don't want to work anymore. Stop the timer, but I know exactly how much time I work. So I paid for this because it makes sense for me. It was $9 per month. So if I saved 5 minutes of billing for customers, like okay, I paid for Harvest. So think about those things. And the other side, think about the fact that time is money too. So the time you're spending to do some stuff that you don't want to pay for may not be worth. I was not doing all my finance stuff because that doesn't make sense. I'm not an expert and I really don't like it. So I think it's better for me to pay that guy $100 per hour because during that time I can charge more to my customers. And on top of that, I do something that I like. I went as far as a point to get a virtual assistant. Not that I'm like so important, I have so many things to do, but like all that finance, those internet search, and like putting the receipts and all those things that I didn't like to do, but I have to do as a freelance, like I don't want to do those things. So I went on Upwork, hired someone, a couple of hours per month. I didn't have to hire her for a full like 40 hours per week. And she was doing like all the stuff that I hate to do. actually she was not really expensive, so I was kind of like best of the both worlds. So think about the fact that time is money too when you think about those two things. Step 8, do a pick shit. And seriously, like start, do your stuff, and I'm really serious. Like, do a pick shit. Sorry, I'm always using that word. I shouldn't have. I've been taught, I've been raised differently, but I guess at some point, little kid got spoiled. But no, seriously, like do great stuff, and deliver quality. And please, like I told you about all those project rescue I was doing, I was like, seriously, like all those customers of mine now they're okay with software developer. But when I went there, they just ate me. Like, nah, okay, you're still gonna do shit like those other people, and that's gonna cost me a lot of money for something I've already paid that should work. And oh, I understand you're like creative artist type of people, so you're gonna change all the tab and indentation. I got an issue with that with spaces, and you're gonna change like the color ID, and I'm gonna have to pay for those things. And people are upset with developers because what we see in the news, like, oh, that IT project, like, was double the price, or it won't hover the estimation at the beginning. And people got this all the time. So please, give me a favor, deliver quality, give great words. And that's gonna be just good for you, because this is your name. At the end of the day, this is your name. So if you want to, like, charge too much, or if you want to deliver really bad work, I'm not happy with this, but this is your problem. And that's going to be your problem, because you're probably going to do this for a long time. There's many people in this world, but at some point people are going to talk about it, and people will know you as someone who's not doing great work. So give me a favor, when you're ready, you prepare, you think about it, you jump in it, and you're like totally like, hey, I'm a freelance, I'm doing some job, do a great job. And part of it you're going to learn. It's a journey. Sometimes it's going to be well, it's going to go well, sometimes not. The things you'll face. This is from one of my friend, Ahmad Nasri. People who can code is fucking hard. People who don't try at all to code is fucking hard. Teachers, people who teach code is fucking hard. Novice developer, coding is fucking hard. Pro developers, coding is fucking hard. Famous developers, consultant, coding is fucking hard. Business people, coding is easy. Why I'm showing this to you? First, I was able to put fucking 6 times in my slides. I think it was great. The second part of it is that I don't know for you, but okay, maybe not because you didn't have maybe to deal with customers directly, but oh, you charge me that amount of money for like 5 web pages? Like my cousin is doing website. Okay, great. Go ask your cousin. Oh, is it that much? I just want a small iOS application with like a couple of windows and people can share on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, this is hard. Oh, but you've done this before. Like I want kind of the same application that you did for your customers. Yeah, I did it. But it's not the same thing either. And things change, and technology change, and there's new feature, and there's bugs, and it's not perfect. I know coder that, like, people that I code for 15 years more, I still create bugs. And most of the time, really stupid bugs. I'm like, hey, this is how it is. This is like, and please, if someone in the room look at me and say, like, you're fucking crazy, coding is easy, get out of that room. Like, coding I love it, it's great. And sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I'm good. Like, no bugs, everything is fine. And you run it, it's like, oh shit, okay, I don't have a compilation bug, but still it's not working. So coding is hard, and people don't understand it. So you will always have to prove yourself. Always, no matter the expertise, the visibility, the branding you have, you always need to prove yourself. And with that comes the imposter syndrome. At some point, you're going to say, oh, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Maybe I should not charge that much to customer. Maybe I shouldn't go freelance, and I may want to go back in a job because that's going to be maybe easier, and maybe that's going to be more at my level. No, you're good. You're a good developer. I hope so. I think so. Look at her face, all look like great developer. But at the end of the day, the imposter syndrome is a syndrome that will pass or will go away. That may not be easy, but that will go away. If you deliver quality, if you have great relationship with customers. And your customers. This is interesting. We always say, oh, if I go freelance, I'm going to be my own boss. Yeah, kind of true-ish. More false than true. Your customers are your new boss. And my past customer wouldn't like that picture, but seriously, like most of them were nice. But at some point I had to fight to get paid, and some people, like I got issues too. I was nearly to go like in legal process to get paid. And it's not fun because I don't want to do this. Personally, I want to be friendly with my customer. I want to have a great relationship. And you need to manage customers. It's not easy. And you need to think about money in a different way. Now you're gonna receive a check from your customer, but you may not have one in 2 weeks. So you need to put money aside. And maybe at some point you will have a full month with no contracts because timing, because summer, because whatever. So you need to rethink your way of managing money. If you're not managing your money very well right now and you go paycheck to paycheck, try to change this a little bit for your own sake, no matter what, but also if you want to go freelance. You need to focus. And this is the hard part. And this is why I'm asking you to think about the why, the what, the how, because at some point you're going to have opportunity about everything and anything. And you're probably going to say yes to those opportunities. Even if it makes sense or may make sense, that will put you away from your main focus, from your expertise, or from what you want to do. And if you do too much of the other things, at some point you will start to do only the other things, which happened to me. And I was like, I went to that spot where I'm like, okay, I'm not totally happy anymore because I'm doing a lot of things that I don't like to do, but I said yes once because I like the customer and this and that, and that can go so fast. So you also need to learn how to say no. And I don't know for you, that was something difficult for me. And saying no, it's a different level. It's about time management too. It's easy to say, oh, I'm just gonna work an hour or two tonight and not spend time with the family during that time. And the thing is that there's some customers that really work nearly 20 hours out of 24 hours. I had one customer who was like calling me in the evening and the weekend. Even if I tried to like not work, I was like, okay, oh, it's only 30 minutes. And I was working in the beginning, but at some point I said, no, I'm not gonna answer the phone. Like, if it's not something urgent, and trust me, I don't think there's never ever something really urgent in life, I'm not gonna work. Like, I'm doing 9 to 4-ish. Like, I'm being available from 9 to 4. If I work in the evening, this is my issue, but I'm not gonna answer email, I'm not gonna answer call. But at the beginning, it's not easy to do. So at some point, you're gonna create those rules. And I remember my first invoice. It was like, I got a footnote, it was like, make payable check to Frederick Harper because I did not have a bank account for an Alliance Born King. And the second invoice was like, oh yeah, I had if you're late for more than 30 days, I'm going to charge you more money because like I need that money to live. And the third one was like, oh yeah, if you don't give me everything I need to start a contract at time, I'm going to give you one verbal warning, and at the second, I may end up the contract, or I may like charge you more because during that time I cannot accept our contract, but you're not giving me what I need to do. And all those things you're going to learn, you're going to start to create what I call those kind of rules, and you're going to put this on your invoice or your contract, and you're going to talk with your customers. And it's not about being rude; it's just about being respectful. And what I saw is that people are, and I don't understand why. And I wouldn't say I don't have any other word than people are not respectful. I don't think it's a lack of respect for you, but it's different because you're alone, you're at home, you're working on your own stuff than if you're a company. They will never do this with a company. Like, they know the company is 8 to 5, there is weekends, and there's vacation, they have to deal with it. But now this is you. Oh yeah, okay, you plan to take a week of vacation. Okay, can you postpone your vacation because we have something to do? Like, they would never ask a company, can you postpone the 2 weeks construction vacation right now because like we need you to do your stuff. So you're gonna try to create those rules. And again, it's not about being rude. It's just being professional and knowing what's your limits, and you need to define those limits. But at some point, not too much talking that presentation, but at some point you're still gonna meet fuckers. And sorry for those who are offended, but this is so freaking true. You're gonna meet fuckers. There's fuckers everywhere. And people are gonna screw you. And they're gonna look like really nice people at the beginning. And at some point they're gonna try to ask you, oh, can you charge less? Or, oh no, can you do this and this and this? Yeah, I know it was not part of the contract, but you know, it's easy. It's not that complicated. Or, oh yeah, checks in the mail. Oh, nice, for the last 2 months, I know, like, Postgres wasn't that fast, but, like, seriously, like, no, okay, you did not send me anything, or like, that's going to be interesting, but I would say, and I'm opposed to that, I would say most customers, they're great people, so don't be blocked, or don't be like, oh my god, I'm not going to go freelance because I'm going to have to deal with those hassles. No, there is really nice people out there. But the thing is that, even if you follow all those steps, which may or may not be good. This is based on my experience. This is what I think makes sense if you want to start freelance. Even if you follow those steps, you may be successful, but you may fail too. And failing is not bad. We have a tendency to, oh my god, like, oh, I tried freelance, did not work, and I'm a failure. I should not put this in my resume. Oh shit, no, do it. Put it on your resume, it makes sense. You tried, didn't work, fine. You tried, you didn't like it, fine. Like, I'm right now in the interview process because I told you I want to go back to some job. None of the people I talk to, and trust me, I talk to a lot of people because interviews process are long. I just finished a 7-step interview process for a job, like 7 interviews. And nobody was like, oh yeah, no, we don't really hire you because you went freelance and you didn't like it, and for us, you're a failure. No, people are like, this is great. You realize that it was not good for you, or it didn't work as you wanted, or you prefer to go back to a job, fine, but you tried it. So try it if you want to try it, and it's okay. Nobody wants to fail, but it's okay. Just keep in mind that it's okay. We have so many fears in life about like, I don't want to try something because I'm afraid of failing. No, fail, it's okay. And you need to go out of your comfort zone. And being freelance will probably be out of your comfort zone. No matter how confident you're in life, that's probably gonna be it. So the last step is have fun. And this is exactly why I'm going back as an employee. I didn't have as much fun as I thought. There's other way for me to have fun, and this was not for me. I know so many freelancers are doing this for like 50 years. I was not even born. They were freelance. And
I was born, but I was never free.
Yeah, I know. But and they're totally happy. They will never go back to a job. They will never go back as an employee. So have fun, and really like have fun. And I'm really serious. Like have fun. Like you need to have fun. But that will be something. It's the philosopher Fred that are saying this. Like that should be about everything in life. But this is my view of life. But if you go freelance, and as an example, you just go for the money and you don't have fun, you're gonna make money, but you're not gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna deliver great quality work. That's not gonna work with customers. So this is probably one of the most important steps too. Really need to have fun with what you're doing. So some of you in the room went to that talk because we're kind of thinking about going freelance. Like, do you still think you're gonna go freelance, or just like frighten everyone in the room like, oh shit, no, I want to go freelance? You still want to go freelance? You think about it? Is it a dream, or you're like, just no, all the other sessions were boring, so it was like, okay, let's go sit and talk about freelance stuff. Or oh, that guy looked great, nice beard, I want to see him in person. No, oh, I do this. No. So no matter what, that's going to be a journey. Beautiful, maybe not beautiful, but that's going to be a journey. It's a great experience. I highly, even if I'm not there anymore, I highly, highly suggest you to try it. If you think about it, try it. And it's okay. Like, you're young, most of you, and like, it's okay. You go freelance for a year or two, 6 months, doesn't work, go back to a job. Just don't get a job. It's okay. And the sky's the limit. And I'm nearly done. I'm nearly done. So yeah, the sky's the limit. And actually it's true-ish. Like, you will put your own limits, but go for it. So I think I ran out of time, like usually. If you have any more questions, please feel free to send me an email, frper@oocz.net. I'm going to put the recording of the presentation on the slides on DevTeach website.
and the slides and the recording on my blog, but on my blog that probably won't be before Thursday. Sorry about that. I'm going to be there all day. I have another talk this afternoon where I'm going to talk to you about why I hate open source. That's going to be interesting. So have a good DevTeach, and thanks for your time.